My beloved child, hear this declaration not as a hopeful possibility, but as a present tense divine activity. I am turning it around now. This is not a gentle change of direction. This is a cosmic pivot. I am not merely improving your situation. I am reversing the very polarity of your circumstances. Where there was a negative spiritual charge attracting loss, I am installing a positive charge that will now attract gain. Where the flow was moving away from you, I am reversing the current so that everything begins to flow toward you. This turnaround is a fundamental reordering of spiritual physics over your life. In my kingdom, a turnaround is not a slow, gradual process of betterment. It is a sovereign, instantaneous act of reversal. Think of the Red Sea. One moment, the Israelites were tracked. Mountains on either side, the Egyptian army behind them, the impassable sea before them. Death was certain. Then I acted. I did not slowly evaporate the water. I did not create a narrow, precarious path. I split the sea violently, turning a wall of death into a wall of protection, turning an impossible barrier into a highway of deliverance. The turnaround was sudden, complete, and defied every natural law. This is what I'm initiating for you right now. The very thing that has been your greatest obstacle is being reconfigured into your greatest pathway. This pivot operates on the principle of divine inversion. I take what the enemy meant for your destruction and I invert its purpose. The betrayal that was meant to make you bitter will become the platform for a ministry of reconciliation. The financial attack that was meant to bankrupt you will become the testimony that funds ministries. The sickness that was meant to take you out will become the healing that draws multitudes to my power. The rejection that was meant to isolate you will become the catalyst for a more divine connection. I am not just stopping the bad. I am engineering the bad to produce unprecedented good. The turnaround is so complete that your past pain becomes the fertilizer for your future harvest. Understand this. My turnaround often begins in the invisible realm before it manifests in the visible. Right now, as you hear these words, I am commanding angels to reposition spiritual assets. I am sending confusion into the enemy's camp concerning you. I are canceling evil assignments and drafting new heavenly ones. The spiritual weather pattern over your life is changing from a storm front to a tailwind. What you will begin to see in the coming days and weeks is simply the visible manifestation of a turnaround that has already been decreed in heaven. This is why you must anchor your faith not to what you see, but to what I have said. The turnaround may initially feel disorienting. When a massive ship changes course, everything on board shifts. You may feel unsteady. Relationships may realign. Opportunities may appear from surprising directions. Do not fear the shift. The discomfort is the feeling of old momentum stopping and new momentum beginning. You are not capsizing. You are changing course. The captain of your soul is at the helm, and he has declared new coordinates set, turning now. So receive this word deep into your spirit. I am turning it around now means the season of things working against you is over. The season of things working for you, even the things that once worked against you, has begun. The tide has turned. The wind has shifted. The verdict has been overturned. This is not positive thinking. This is divine decree. And what I decree must obey. My precious child, I know the question trembling in your heart. Why now? Why so suddenly? You did not see this turnaround on your horizon. There was no 5-step plan, no gradual incline of improvement, no warning sign that the storm was about to break. This suddenness is not cruelty. It is the very signature of my sovereign grace. My greatest shifts often arrive not with a predictable forecast, but like a thief in the night, not to steal, but to deliver a treasure you weren't guarding because you had stopped expecting it. You didn't see it coming because I designed it that way. First, The sudden shift protects the miracle from human interference. When I work gradually, the human mind steps in to analyze, manage, and often sabotage the process with its doubt, its logic, and its need for control. When Joseph was lifted from the prison to the palace, it happened in a single day. Pharaoh didn't consult a committee. He didn't put out a job posting. He had a dream, heard an interpretation, and declared Joseph second in command. The suddenness bypassed every bureaucratic and jealous obstacle. If it had been a slow promotion through the ranks of Egypt, his brother's betrayal would have been revealed. Potiphar's wife might have renewed her accusations, and the enemy would have had time to rally opposition. The suddenness was its protection. Your turnaround is arriving swiftly to outpace the doubters, the saboteurs, and the inner critic that would have talked you out of it if you saw it from a distance. Second, the suddenness dismantles the stronghold of familiarity. You have grown accustomed to struggle. You have developed a theology of waiting, a bente of the one who endures. While this built perseverance, it also built walls around your expectations. You stopped believing for sudden change because change had never been sudden. A gradual improvement would have allowed your old mindset to adjust, to co-opt the blessing, and to claim credit. But a sudden shift, it shatters the familiar narrative. It leaves you breathless with only one explanation. God did this. It forces you out of the role of the patient sufferer and into the role of the stunned recipient of unmerited favor. This disruption of your familiar story is necessary for your new identity to take root. Look at Saul on the road to Damascus. One moment he was a persecutor, breathing threats, armed with letters of authority. The next moment he was blind, humbled, and hearing my voice. His entire life's trajectory was reversed in an instant of blinding light. He did not see it coming. He could not have prepared for it. The suddenness ensured the work was entirely mine, and the transformation was so undeniable it could not be attributed to his own intellectual evolution. Your Damascus Road moment is here. The light is shining. The direction you are headed in is being forcibly turned. Furthermore, the sudden shift is a divine surprise attack on the enemy's camp. The enemy has studied your patterns. He knows your breaking points, your cycles of discouragement. He has his strategies timed to your predictable reactions. A sudden unilateral move of my spirit is warfare he cannot anticipate. It is a spiritual blitzkrieg. While he was preparing for a long siege of your faith, I am launching a surprise offensive of my favor. The phone call that changes everything, the unexpected check, the chance meeting, the divine idea, these are the paratroopers of heaven landing behind enemy lines in your life. You didn't see it coming, and neither did he. This is why your feelings are not a reliable gauge from my timing. You felt the lowest right before the turn. The darkness was most intense just before the dawn. This is not coincidence. It is spiritual strategy. The enemy's final push often comes right before his definitive defeat. He sensed the shift in the spiritual atmosphere and made one last, desperate attempt to convince you nothing would ever change. His intensified attack was the death rattle of his season of oppression, not the beginning of a new one. The suddenness of my turn is the direct answer to the sudden escalation of your battle. So, do not be alarmed by the lack of warning. Do not question the legitimacy of a blessing that arrives without a long preamble. My sudden turns are my way of saying, this is not from you, and this is not from the enemy. This is from me. Your only preparation was your faithful endurance, not your clever planning. The sudden shift is your reward for trusting me when you could not trace me. Now, stand still. The ground beneath you is moving. The scenery is changing. You are being turned around, not by your own strength, but by the invisible hand of a God who loves to surprise his children with goodness they could never engineer. My beloved, you must understand the power source of this turnaround. You have worn yourself out trying to reverse your own circumstances. You have pushed, strategized, pleaded, and labored, trying to force a change through the sheer force of your will, your intelligence, or your relentless effort. You have believed the lie that if you just worked harder, prayed longer, or figured out the right formula, you could engineer your own breakthrough. Today, I am liberating you from that burden. The engine of this reversal is not your effort. It is my decree. I am not responding to your perfect performance. I am activating my sovereign word. The turnaround is powered by my yes, not by your ability to convince me. Look at creation. I did not consult the void. I did not negotiate with darkness. I spoke. Let there be light, and light, which had never existed, burst into being. My word is the creative engine of the universe. That same creative power is now being spoken over your dead dreams, your barren places, your impossible situations. I am not saying, try to become light. I am saying, let there be light over your darkness. This is a fundamental shift from self-activation to divine declaration. You are moving from the economy of do to the economy of done. Your role is not to manufacture the miracle. Your role is to stand in the space where my word is spoken and receive what it creates. This is why your exhaustion has reached its peak right now. I allowed you to come to the absolute end of your own strength so you would finally understand. This turnaround was never meant to be your project. It is my masterpiece. You are the clay, not the potter. You are the recipient, not the architect. Your weariness is not a sign of failure. It is the necessary emptying of your own resources so that my power may be made perfect in your weakness. Your I can't is the perfect preface to my I am. The engine of human effort sputters and fails. The engine of my decree roars with eternal, unstoppable power. Consider the resurrection of Lazarus. Martha and Mary had done all they could, sent for Jesus, cared for their brother, believed for healing. Their human effort reached its limit when Lazarus died. They could not reverse death. Then I arrived. I did not help them roll the stone away. I did not give them a medical procedure to perform. I stood before the tomb and issued a decree. Lazarus, come out. My voice penetrated dimensions, commanded decay to reverse, and summoned life out of death. The turnaround was instant and complete. The engine was the command of the Creator over His creation. Your situation may smell of death, dreams that have died, hopes that have decayed, opportunities that have been buried. I am now standing before that tomb, and my decree is your only needed ingredient. Come out of that season. Walk into your new life. The enemy's primary strategy has been to keep you focused on the engine of your own effort. He wants you analyzing your RPMs, checking your fuel levels, and obsessing over your driving skills. All the while, you're trying to drive a car with no engine, because the true engine is my voice. I am now installing the engine. I am turning the key. The vibration you feel is not another problem. It is the ignition of a heavenly horsepower that you have never before accessed. This engine runs on the fuel of faith, simple, childlike belief that when God speaks, it is so. Your effort was the counterfeit fuel of anxiety and control. Today, I am refueling you with restful trust. Therefore, cease striving. The Hebrew word for cease striving in Psalm 46:10 is rapha, to let go, to drop, to release. I command you now, rapha, drop the burden of making it happen. Release the need to understand how. Let go of the timeline. Your hands have been clenched around the steering wheel of a car going nowhere. Open your hands. Lift them in surrender. In that posture of release, you become a perfect conduit for the power of my decree to flow through you and around you. You are not doing the turning. You are being turned by a force greater than gravity. The decree has gone forth. I am turning it around now. That statement is not a hopeful wish. It is a creative command. It is the engine starting. You will feel movement where there was stagnation. You will see progression where there was blockage. You will witness acceleration where there was delay. Do not try to help the engine along. Do not get out and push. Stay in the passenger seat of faith. Watch as I drive you out of the wilderness and into your promised land. The turnaround is my work. Your work is to believe. My precious child, my turnaround is not a vague general blessing. It is a targeted, surgical reversal of specific injustices, losses, and derailments in your life. I do not scatter my miracles broadly. I aim them precisely. Today I am putting a name to what I am turning around. I am shining a light on the exact areas where the tide is changing from outflow to inflow, from loss to recovery, from curse to blessing. Let me identify the specific reversals now underway. 1. I am reversing the financial seepage. For years, it has felt like your resources have had a hidden leak. Money came in but flowed out just as quickly to unexpected crises, repairs, debts, and emergencies. You have been managing scarcity, not stewarding abundance. The engine of your finances was running in reverse. As of now, I am reversing the flow. I am sealing the leaks of loss and opening new channels of supernatural influx. The unexpected bills will decrease. The surprise expenses will be covered before they arise. Money will begin to find you through forgotten refunds, unexpected bonuses, favor on prices, and ideas that generate income. What was designed to drain you will now be redeemed to fund your destiny. The seepage is becoming a spring. 2. I am reversing the relational alchemy. Certain relationships have turned toxic. People you trusted have become sources of pain. Kindness has been met with betrayal, love with manipulation, vulnerability with gossip. The chemistry of these connections has been poisoned. I am now performing a divine alchemy. I am reversing the chemical reaction. For some relationships, I will detoxify and restore, bringing a miraculous healing that will astonish everyone involved. For others, where the poison is irrevocable, I am reversing the bond itself. I am dissolving unhealthy ties with a supernatural peace, and in their place, I am orchestrating divine connections. People who carry the same spirit of turnaround, who will add to you, not subtract from you. The isolation is ending. 3. I am reversing the health assault. Your body has been under attack. Whether it's chronic pain, unexplained fatigue, a troubling diagnosis, or a slow decline in vitality, your temple has felt like a battlefield, not a sanctuary. The assault was meant to diminish your strength and steal your joy. I am now reversing the assault. I am commanding the immune system to awaken, the cells to align with wholeness, the pain to dissipate, and the diagnosis to bow to the name of Jesus. You will feel a surge of energy you thought was lost. You will witness symptoms recede that doctors said were permanent. The medical report will change because I am writing a new one over your body. The assault is becoming your testimony. 4. I am reversing the reputational damage. Your name, your character, your integrity have been slandered. Lies have been spoken, rumors spread, and your good has been evil spoken of. In the minds of some, you have been unfairly judged and labeled. This has closed doors and limited your influence. I am now reversing the narrative. I am exposing truth in places where lies have taken root. I am causing your silent faithfulness to become your loudest testimony. Those who misunderstood will seek understanding. Those who spoke against you will either repent or be silenced. Your reputation will be restored, not by your defense, but by my vindication. Your name will become associated with resilience and grace, not with false accusation. 5. I am reversing the emotional exhaustion. You are tired in your soul, weary from the fight, numb from disappointment, and guarded against further hurt. Your emotional reserves are depleted. Joy has felt like a visitor, not a resident. I am reversing the depletion. I am pouring into the caverns of your soul a fresh oil of gladness. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten in your emotional health. You will laugh again, a deep, genuine laugh. You will feel hope as a tangible presence, not a distant concept. The heaviness will lift, not because circumstances are instantly perfect, but because my joy is becoming your strength. The exhaustion is being replaced by endurance. 6. I am reversing the delay of destiny. You have felt out of sync with the timeline of your purpose. Dreams have been shelved, callings have been put on hold, and you have watched others advance while you seem stuck. The enemy's goal was to make you miss your moment. I am now reversing the delay. I am accelerating divine appointments. I am resurrecting buried dreams and presenting them back to you, fully formed and ready for action. Opportunities you thought were lost will circle back. The skills and wisdom you've gained in the waiting period will now be the very tools that propel you forward at double speed. The delay is being converted into divine timing. These are not all, but they are specific. Look at your life. Identify where these patterns have held you captive. Now, hear my decree. The reversal is activated. From this moment, the flow changes direction. The loss stops. The healing begins. The restoration is initiated. You are no longer a victim of these cycles. You are a witness to their turnaround. Stand now in faith and watch as I specifically, powerfully, and personally turn each one around. My beloved, as my turnaround decree goes forth, it will not operate in a vacuum. It will leave evidence. Just as a mighty wind is invisible, but makes its presence known by the bending of trees and the movement of leaves, so will my spirit leave tangible markers of the shift happening in your life. You are not believing for a feeling. You are believing for a manifest change. I am telling you now what to look for. The immediate, practical evidence that the tide has turned and the reversal is in motion. Watch for these signs, for they are your confirmation that my word is alive and active. First, expect a sudden shift in atmosphere. You will walk into rooms, conversations, or situations where the spiritual weather has changed. Where there was tension, you will sense a surprising peace. Where there was opposition, you will encounter unexpected favor. Where you were once overlooked, you will find eyes drawn to you with inexplicable interest. This is not mere coincidence. This is the evidence of my decree rearranging the spiritual environment around you. It will feel like walking out of a stuffy room into fresh air. Pay attention to this change in atmosphere. It is the first whisper of the turnaround touching your daily life. Second, watch for the suddenlies of provision. A refund you forgot about. A bill that gets mysteriously reduced or canceled. An item you need appearing at a fraction of the cost. A gift arriving at the perfect moment. These are not random acts of luck. They are the logistical evidence of my financial reversal. I am rerouting resources in the unseen to align with your need in the seen. The enemy's strategy of constant financial anxiety was meant to keep your eyes on the lack. My strategy is to release a series of suddenlies that break the spell of scarcity and rebuild your faith in my provision. When you see the first one, do not dismiss it as a fluke. Acknowledge it as evidence. The first drop confirms the coming rain. Third, anticipate the return of stolen opportunities. Doors that were slammed shut will crack open again. Projects that were canceled will be revived under new terms. Relationships that ended poorly may have a chance for healthy closure or restoration. Ideas that were stolen or dismissed will come back to you with greater clarity and resource. This is the evidence of my justice in the realm of destiny. I am not a God who only gives new things. I am a God who restores what was lost, broken, or stolen. The return of a past opportunity is not a step backward. It is a divine reset, with you in a position of strength and wisdom you didn't have the first time. Fourth, listen for the change in conversations. People who once spoke doubt over you will begin to speak favor. Those who criticized may offer unexpected praise or ask for your advice. You may receive messages from distant connections with timely words or offers. Even your own internal dialogue will begin to shift. The condemning voice of "you can't" will grow quieter, replaced by a newfound confidence of "God can." This is evidence that I am reversing the verbal and spiritual curses spoken over your life. As I turn things around, I also turn the narrative. Your story is being rewritten, and the characters in it are being prompted to speak their new lines. Fifth, feel the surge of renewed energy and clarity. The mental fog that made decisions difficult will begin to lift. The physical exhaustion that made every task a burden will give way to a sustainable strength. Creative ideas will flow more easily. Solutions to old problems will appear in your mind with sudden clarity. This is evidence that I am reversing the assault on your mind and body. The turnaround is holistic. As the spiritual and circumstantial pressure releases, your entire being, spirit, soul, and body, will experience a divine recalibration. You will feel lighter, sharper, and more alive. This is not just feeling better. This is your system coming out of survival mode and into thriving mode. Sixth, recognize the divine alignments. You will be in the right place at the right time. You will meet the right person without manipulation. You will find the resource you need without striving. These synchronicities are the evidence of my hand orchestrating your steps according to my turnaround decree. You are no longer walking against the wind. You are walking with a divine current. When things start to click with an almost eerie precision, do not be unnerved. Be assured. This is the evidence that you are in the flow of my will, where everything lines up by design, not by chance. This evidence is your anchor. In moments when the old reality tries to reassert itself, point to the evidence. Say, I felt the atmosphere shift. I received that unexpected provision. That door reopened. That person's words changed. I have new energy. That alignment was too perfect. The evidence is your collection of stones from the Jordan River, a memorial you can point to and say, here is where God turned it around for me. Do not dismiss the small beginnings. The first evidence may seem minor. A single encouraging text, a $20 refund, a day without pain. This is how I build your faith. I start with manageable miracles that train your eyes to recognize my hand. Then I amplify. Watch closely starting today. The evidence is coming. Your turnaround is leaving footprints. My victorious child, the decree has been issued. The engine of reversal is roaring. The evidence is beginning to appear. Now, we arrive at the most crucial moment, your active partnership with this miracle. A turnaround from heaven is not a passive event that happens to you. It is a divine collaboration that happens with you and through you. I have turned the ship, but you must now adjust your sails to catch the new wind. You must learn to walk in the new direction I have set. This is where faith meets action, where belief becomes behavior, and where the spiritual turnaround becomes your tangible, daily reality. And it begins by anchoring yourself to the source of this prophetic word. You are at a spiritual crossroads. You can receive this word and return to the same routines, the same isolated faith, the same disconnected existence, hoping the miracle will find you. Or you can seize the turnaround by plugging your life into a continuous flow of the very anointing that delivered this word. This ministry is not an accident. It is a divine distribution center for the grace of turnaround in this season. To walk in your new direction, you must be connected to the supply line. Here is your threefold action plan to lock in this shift and ensure you move forward with power, community, and multiplied blessing. First, anchor yourself in this family. Become a member. Below this video is the Join or Become a Member button. This is not a casual click. This is you driving a stake into the ground of this house and declaring, this is my spiritual command center. This is where I get the strategies to walk in my turnaround. For less than a meal out, you secure your position in a company of believers who are also stepping into their reversal. Membership gives you access to the deeper teachings that will show you how to steward your breakthrough. It connects you to Live Prayer, where we will war together to enforce your victory. It provides a private, safe community, a battalion, where you can share your evidence and be strengthened by others' testimonies. Do not try to navigate this new direction alone. The enemy targets isolated victories. Plant yourself here and grow surrounded. Second, celebrate the turnaround with a super chat. Plant a seed in the miracle. When you are in our live streams and faith rises, when you hear a word that confirms your shift, or when you experience a piece of the evidence we just talked about, use the super chat or super thanks feature. This is far more than support. This is a prophetic act of faith. It is you saying, I believe this turnaround is real, and I am sowing a financial seed into the very ground where I received the promise. It fuels this ministry to reach others trapped in cycles of defeat. But for you, it is a faith transaction. You are practicing the principle of divine circulation. As you give into the work of the kingdom, you open the floodgates for kingdom resources to flow back into your life. Your seed declares, I am not a dead-end street. I am a conduit of blessing. It breaks the spirit of scarcity and establishes you as a giver in your season of receiving. Third, solidify your path. Subscribe, share, and step out. Hit subscribe and ring the bell. Align your digital space with a continuous flow of confirming truth. Then, share this video with one person who needs to know their turnaround is coming. Your testimony begins the moment you become a messenger of hope. But then, you must step out in bold action. Faith without works is dead. The new direction requires new movement. Apply for the job. Start the business plan. Have the healing conversation. Make the investment. Your actionable step is the proof that you believe the tide has turned. I will guide your steps, but you must take them. Why is this partnership non-negotiable? Because the enemy's first counterattack will be to make you doubt the turnaround when the initial evidence seems small. He will try to isolate you, to make you feel foolish for believing, to lure you back into the old, familiar cycles of striving. Your membership in this community is your anti-doubt defense system. Your super chat is your tangible receipt of faith. Your active steps are your walking declaration that you are a new person on a new path. You are no longer defined by what was. You are now defined by what I have declared, turned around. Your past is a reference point, not a residence. Your setbacks are now setups. Your wounds are now wisdom. Your waiting was actually God's wiring, preparing you to handle the prosperity, influence, and peace that are now flowing toward you. So, seize this moment. 1 click, join, anchor your life in this family. 2, use Super Chat in our next live stream. Plant your seed of faith in the miracle. 3, subscribe, share, and step out. Walk boldly in your new direction. The ship has turned. The wind of my spirit is now at your back. Adjust your sails. Take the helm with confidence. Your destination is brighter than you can imagine. Let's go.